It's a vast space around Salisbury. I mean, it's one of the most splendid cathedral precincts. And it was daunting at first because, in a sense, it sort of reduces anything in it. You have a great area of grass, and then you have the terrific height and refinement of the cathedral. The thing is scale rather than size, and by placing things strategically, they can have considerable power. The works are, in a sense, like punctuation. If you put a punctuation, comma or dot or whatever it is at the right place, it commands everything it contains. And some of the elements are fairly small, but the spaces between them are also part of the story. So, you know, they become large by association. Inside's a very different story. I mean, inside it's a question of finding a quiet space within the whole. But I singled out areas that I thought had a kind of calm. The works inside, many of which actually developed from geometric patterns from early medieval cathedral, actually, from floor patterns. But they were based on a geometry that is kind of directly in relation to nature, patterns of growth, the way that the square and the diagonal and the circle become the sort of fundamentals of growth when you see it in a certain way. And some of those panels quite literally just take the elements of the circles and set them out. Others sort of break them down into a sort of fractured version, quite free, like a sort of sketch, and then cut into stone, which makes it very permanent. I like the idea of something which is quite light and then becomes very fixed. In the cloister, there's another work which is really quite different. I mean, they're very crystalline. There are 5 hard-edged geometric forms, all relating to each other, all different granites, different colours. I find it very interesting, the relationship between that hard-edged crystalline form making and the geometry of the cloister itself, which is all to do with, you know, masons set those stones out using all their geometric skills, and yet they look like branches of trees, they look like a sort of encompassing organic life. And then the stones in my little procession are almost like the crystals which form the sort of microscopic basis of life. So there's two different kind of natures seen against each other. I think the experience is, and I would hope it is, one of basically of questioning. I don't think it should reaffirm prejudices in any way. I think it should get people to think, what on earth is this? Why is it here? Why aren't there any answers? Which is, you know, a big issue. And how do I feel about it? What am I supposed to do about this? Do I have to engage in it? Can I walk past and sort of ignore it? One of the reasons I think people could find them so attracting is that there was something there that gave them a one-to-one relationship. If they had to look at a bronze figure of a person, they are looking through a very complex set of arrangements. First of all, it's bronze. Secondly, it's been modelled. Thirdly, it's a person. How can a person be in bronze? All sorts of language things, if you like, that make that a completely different exercise from a chunk of stone sitting in a field that you can sit on. The very stone character, which is sometimes polished, is sometimes rough to the touch, sometimes smooth. After the sun's been on it, it's beautifully warm, sometimes it's very cold. And there's a whole range of sort of physical responses, quite apart from any sort of questioning of the mind. There are a lot of tiny tots who sort of scramble all over things. They are marvellous. They explore it just like my drawing is. You know, if there's a circle, they trace it with their hand. If there's a square, they jump into it. So that's a real engagement. It's what I do either physically or in my mind when I'm making things. And I feel that when people do that, they're sort of engaging in a physical way in some of the excitement that I have in making the work.